What's up, YouTube world? It's your boy Lucha, aka Matthew J. Brownlee, and I'm back with another Smack Talk Top 5. I almost said Top 10, but it's not Top 5. Handy dandy notebook. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Of course, as always, this time I was at work, but I saw half the show. No, I closed yesterday. What am I talking about? I'm on drugs. I did not watch. I watched highlights of the show, and I saw things that happened at the show, whatever like that. So I'm pretty much caught up on Smackdown. Uh, Getting in my top 5. Smackdown seemed like a decent enough show for like the most part. We're gonna get into that, and we're just gonna get into it. As always, we gotta talk about what did not make the list. There wasn't a lot of matches on here, so I mean, really, all the matches made the list because there wasn't a lot of matches. So I'm just gonna just talk about uh, specific stuff, I guess. So one of the things that has nothing to do with the list is just a thing that happened with Banks and Carmella's sommelier, Reginald. They came. She was hugging Kalisto for something. I think she was saying that she looked beautiful, and then she was walked and she saw Reginald, and he had like a bottle of wine, and he was like, "Oh, this wine is for you. Carmella told me to give it to you for the finest wine for somebody who's about to lose." And she said, okay, I got it. And then she gets sort of mad, but then she's like, starts being like a little flirtatious with him. It's like, oh, okay. Something about you that, I kind of like. Maybe it's like that French accent or something like that. Maybe, you know, something else. But tell Carmella that I don't need it. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat that ass. And here, take this wine back because maybe you'll need it. I think she said something like, uh, finding the wine because she thanks him for the wine, and it was like, I need to find a wine for you. Maybe you can help me out. Find a wine for Carmella. Something that will help her with her broken jaw after I demolish it when I retain my title. Yeah, that's what it was. So yeah. So number 5 on my list, Baron Corbin versus Dominic Mysterio. This is how non-existent the show was. This match was it was there. It was fine. The reason why it's number 5, and luckily there's probably not another match. It wasn't another match for me to make it number 4 or take it out the top 5. It was a little sloppy. Baron Corbin, as decent of a wrestler he is, he's not out here. Can't make out people better in the ring. Dominic just still needs more work. I mean, he's good for what he is because he's Rey Mysterio's son. Rey Mysterio is one of the greatest of all time, and Dominic has natural skill, but to work it out, like him was laying on his head. A lot of stuff that he was doing was clunky. Uh, my boy Corbin had to like do like a lot of muscling to like save him a lot of the times during the thing, and then like not even to mention like in the end he still won. Like Rey Mysterio said last week that, hey, we're gonna let you do your stuff your way, and then next week we're gonna do something my way if if you lose. And then they come this week, and then it's the same match, and Corbin still wins. So I don't understand what Rey Mysterio's way is, but apparently it wasn't a good way because he still loses. And then Corbin tries to attack Rey Mysterio after Dominic gets hit with the end of days, and yeah, Rey Mysterio gets after Corbin and beats him up. That's really it. Number 4, I guess I put it together ish because I wanted this part to be separate from something else. It's the 6-man, 9-man, 10-man tag. Yeah, it's a whole thing. So a little bit of context. Uh, Daniel Bryan cut a promo in the beginning of the show. He pretty much said that he talks about his thing about not winning a Rumble. He says he's not a lot of years left in him, so he wants to do this before he goes not full time to get his last couple of runs in. Then AJ Styles comes out. AJ Styles is like, no man, you crazy person. AJ Styles is gonna win Royal Rumble. Uh, and then Daniel Bryan was like, yeah, I know Royal Rumble's coming up, and I know that you used to be SmackDown star, but you're not SmackDown star anymore. Good to see you. Good to see you. But why are you here? And then Omos with the big cut on his head. I don't know how that happened. He just says quarterly brand invitational. I was like, okay. It's AJ Styles, so we'll let it slide. AJ Styles is like, stop, the house that I built. The house that AJ Styles built. Why you worry about why I'm here? I put SmackDown on the map. AJ Styles. Pretty much said that he's been a gatekeeper on Raw and that he's going to eliminate everybody or whatever. And he was like, man, look at you, man. He was like, you look like you dressed to be GM. It's like, is that what happened? You've been GM since I've been gone? Just like, yeah, one foot out the door, stuff like that. He's like, nah, but I could show you tonight in this match where I beat you. And AJ Styles says yes. And then AJ pushes Daniel Bryan. He's about to get up. Of course, big Omos is standing there. AJ's behind him, and then Daniel Bryan said, because he said before, hey, don't bring big man. But then he said, whether you bring him or not, I'm still going to beat that ass. So they did have the match. So we're not going to talk about the match yet. But they did have the match. And then Sami Zayn was outside. He came outside. Cesaro was on commentary. Big E's outside. Or Big E comes out. He starts beating up Sami Zayn, and then after that, I think Sami moves or throws Big E into Cesaro. Cesaro beats up Big E. Bryan has AJ out on the outside. AJ is about to do a suicide dive. AJ moves out the way. Suicide dives on Sami and Cesaro. That's not a good sign. They beat up them. Everybody gets beat up. Match is thrown out. And then Shinsuke Nakamura comes out. Even the odds. Beats up AJ, beats up Sami, and then they're about to beat up Cesaro. But they're like, whoa, no, we're actually still friends. And then they go to commercial, and then they're fighting each other. And then this match gets thrown out because, Miz and Morrison, who was there for whatever reason. Oh, that was another thing. I forgot about that. Sonya Deville was with Big E. Big E had a thing. I guess he was trying to get into like the number 30 spot or like a good spot in the Rumble. And then he was like, you helped me out. And she was like, you gave me $1. He's like, wow, you also got some Arby's coupons in the back. And then Miz and Morrison comes out. And they're like, why are you guys here? It's like, brand stuff. And then they talk forever. And then Sonya was like, I gotta do something. And then Big E was like, ugh, me too. And then it was like, what are you gonna do? Nothing. Just float around. And then Big E was like, funny for two people who's not gonna win the Rumble or something like that. And then Morrison attacks Big E, and Big E beats up Miz and Morrison, and they brawl and stuff like that. So Miz and Morrison comes out. They go straight for Big E, beats him up, and then Otis comes out, and then the kind of thing that I sort of maybe a little bit like, even though they keep doing this, is that Sonya Deville is like sort of a heel, and then she was like, and they said that she made the match, like she made these matches. So I just like the idea. She was like, well, okay, 4 bad guys, 3 good guys, whatever. Just let them have a match. I don't care. And like you can argue that they do that like she's new because Adam Pearce isn't there. You said like Adam Pearce is on like a week leave or something like that. They could have played up the facts like, well, she's just making matches. She's just throwing people in there because she's new. She's never done it before, so she's just throwing in matches. It's probably why the ending of the show was like all over the place. It could have been like, well, just because Sonya Deville is new, she just, oh, four bad guys don't like these three good guys. Three good guys will be all right, the baby face, stuff. So let them have the match. And then at the 9-man tag match, they all beat up, and then Sheamus comes out. This is a shameful thing. Oh, that's not his thing anymore. But he comes out. Daniel Bryan tags him in, and then he beats everybody up. And then Sami Zayn's about to go for a haluva kick because after that, everybody has to get their stuff in. Everybody has to get their the uppercuts in, the big endings in, and the kicks in, and their all their stuff in. And then Sami's about to haluva kick Sheamus. Sheamus said, "Nah." Boom, bro kick straight to the face. 1, 2, 3. Sheamus gets a win. Probably his first win in a long time because he really doesn't win a lot. So he wins, and then the heels beat up all the baby faces, and then Braun comes out, and he beats up all the heels except for Miz and Morrison because they ran away, and then they guess it's Braun's in the Royal Rumble. Is he in the Royal Rumble? That means he's in the Royal Rumble. I think that means he's in the Royal Rumble. So Braun Strowman's in the Royal Rumble. And he's looking jacked. He out there slimmed up. My man's looking jacked. I was like, all right, okay, Brawny Strowman, I see you, big dog. I liked it. Number 4, that's what it was. Number 3, actually, I'm going to go number 3. I'm going to go Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. I put it at number 2, but the reason why I just changed it at the whim. I put it at number 3 for the simple fact is because of interference, and the match interfered with everything pretty much, and is what made the 6-man tag, 9-man tag, 10-man tag, this whole foolishness that got together. When it was just Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles, we was out there. They was killing it. They was working on the arms. AJ was working on that arm, which is throughout the whole show. Like the rest of the matches that they did, they was working on AJ's arm. AJ Styles went to go for like a phenomenal forearm, and Daniel Bryan reversed it. A lot of counter kick strikes. And that's when what's his name? That's when Sami Zayn came out, and then they went out to commercial, and that's when they were doing more stuff. AJ Styles, I think, went to go for another phenomenal forearm or Styles Clash or something like that, and then Daniel Bryan like caught him in like a cool reversal, and just like a crossface. It was like a crossface, and then it entered into the label lock. And then that's when AJ went on the outside, and all that foolishness happened when Big E came out and all that stuff. But before that, the match was getting good because remember that Intercontinental Championship match they had, that half-hour one, and I thought this was going to be the same thing. I was like, oh, they're going to give this a half hour. It would have been better if they would have gave this that half hour. They would have had a winner or something like that. And then that's when everybody comes out. Big E comes out, Cesaro. Sammy, Nakamura, Miz Morrison, Sheamus, Otis. That's when they do that, and then the big Braun thing happens, and then that's how they end SmackDown. But instead, they wanted like a million 6-man tags and 10-man tags. It was really weird, especially for even for their brand Invitational. Like, you didn't need all of them to wrestle. You just had them. They could have just came out, brawled, did some over the top rope stuff. Maybe would have did that, but. It is what it is. It's number 3. I don't like my. I don't like matches that ends in like disqualifications, or I don't like cheating to win and stuff like that. Unless it's really really good. So, number 3. Number 2, who was going to be number 3, and then I thought about it, I was like, nah, number 2, Bianca Belair versus Bayley. This match was good. Bayley has an interview, and she says that she likes Bianca. She saw her chronicle is really good, but it said that she lose short sight of things, and then she's gonna beat her up and stuff like that. Because Caleb was trying to talk to her about what happened last week, and she was like, "No, you're messing up. We don't worry about that. We worry about what happened at the end." So when I beat her up and threw her arm on the basketball hoop post. And during the match, when they had the match, that's what Bayley was working on. It was Bayley's, wit in working on her arm, and Bianca trying to, fight and overcome it. Uh, Bayley did like a nice elbow to the arm, like top elbow. She does it. She does it to the back of her arm. Stomps on it. Um, she tried to go for like a KOD, like her KOD the first time. No, I lied. She tried to go for like the grand slam that Beth Phoenix does, but her arm gave way. Bianca couldn't do anything about it. Bayley like reverses it, tries to get her in the move, like tries to Irish whip her, but she does like a one-handed cartwheel, one-handed like flip thing, which was kind of cool. And then Bayley chases after her. She hits the goalpost, picks her up, KOD, 1, 2, 3, clean as a whistle. Bianca Belair beats Bayley. Fantastic. That's what we like to see in the streets. And then they gave her like a after thing promo, and like she was like really winded. She was like really tired, and like she didn't have the words. She was just like, I can't believe it. I got it. It's my biggest win. Bayley's great, but she's not the EST. But we give her props because she's like the longest SmackDown. Yeah, yes. Woo! Oh, my tired. Yeah. Woo. Yeah. Good talk, guys. Good talk. So, yeah, it was good. It's good to see Bianca get a good win. Bayley's great. I don't know if Bianca's gonna. She said that she's gonna win. Chances are that she can win, but there's this thing now that Bianca and Bayley might be at the last two, and I think this right now. I think she'll be SmackDown Women's Champion this year, either this year or next year. But I think that Bayley still is gonna win. She wins the Rumble. She has her final big face off with Sasha at Mania. Maybe they do Elimination Chamber where Sasha's title's on the line at the Elimination Chamber, and then you could throw in her, Bianca, Rhea Ripley. I don't know if she's gonna be on Raw or SmackDown, but maybe Rhea Ripley if she's on SmackDown. Whoever. Now Rhea Ripley might be on Raw. Her, Bianca, the Riots, I guess, Natalia. I don't know. You can just Carmella, and whoever. And then they have that, and whoever wins that faces Bayley at WrestleMania. It could be Sasha. Give Sasha her win. Give Bayley Sasha that final match, and then cause Sasha wins, and then Bayley goes on to SmackDown because she literally did everything she can do. She's SmackDown Women's Champion, longest reigning. I think she's 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion. She held that and the tag team titles at the same time. Brought rating like Sasha Bayley's did everything she did on SmackDown. She doesn't really need to do everything. She's faced everybody. She's beat everybody. New challenges on Raw. After WrestleMania, their final matchup, they have the greatest match of all time. And then she goes to Raw. And then you get the Bianca train, her rolling for her and Sasha for the next year. But anyways, my final number one, numero uno, because I don't think there's anything else. Number one is Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. They're face to face. This was just fantastic. Roman Reigns is like his promos that he likes to do before the show or before like the pay-per-view. Oh man, they're just they're sitting at home or backstage or whatever like that. Kevin Owens has his fantastic Ever Rise Rules shirt because Quebec, and then Roman Reigns is sitting there and pretty much talks. Kevin Owens is talking to him, tell him that he's gonna he's gonna beat him. Roman Reigns is like, oh man, you just don't get it. He doesn't get it. He said, everything you guys do, your family, I feed you. He feeds the family. He said that this was his show. SmackDown revolves around him, or WWE Universe, revolves around him. Asked him about his father. He's like, how's your father? He's like, what type of man was your father? And then Kevin Owens was like, he's a good man. Watch the tone. He was like, would you say that he was a smart man? And it was like, yeah, he was very smart. And if you were smart, you would relax about talking about my father. And I just don't get it, and he doesn't get it. It's like your grandfathers, how were they? And then Kevin Owens kind of gets a little bit riled up. He's like, I already told you about my grandparents, on my arm and stuff, like on my knuckles and stuff like that. And it was like, well, I'm saying that because if you think that you could beat me, you're a fool. And if you're a fool, your daddy's a fool. And if your daddy's a fool, your granddaddy's a fool. I was like, oh, sugar honey iced tea. And then and then and then he gets all animated, and he talks about Roman Reigns being like a cartoon chief wannabe boss, and talks about his family, and if he goes at him one more time, he's gonna destroy him. He's like, it's not gonna be, we're not gonna be in screen time. He's like, Royal Rumble doesn't matter. Your stupid family is gonna keep coming after me, and I'm gonna keep getting up, and nothing's gonna stop me from. And then Roman Reigns is like, goes to Paul. He's like, yes, did, did Roman Reigns just turn the TV off on Kevin Owens? Roman Reigns turned the TV off on Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens got so mad. It's like, this heifer did not just turn the TV off on me. Kevin Owens got all serious and riled up, and Roman Reigns just turned the TV off on him. I was like, oh, that's unfortunate. That's hilarious. Yeah, that was great stuff. That was fantastic, and yeah, I loved everything about it. Yeah, number one is a segment like, normally I'll mesh segments in something, a really good segment. I'll mention it or include it somewhere. This was by and far the best thing that happened on SmackDown. Roman Reigns is on top of his game. Kevin Owens is really good. Is really great. The Royal Rumble is going to be interesting because the Royal Rumble is going to show us what they have planned for the future. Do they have Roman Reigns versus Goldberg planned? Do they have Goldberg Drew rematch at Royal Rumble because Goldberg's gonna win and Drew's gonna get it back at WrestleMania? There's a whole bunch of things like AJ. Like I saw Smack Talk, and then AJ Styles. He was on Smack Talk or Talking Smack, and they did a thing where Paul Heyman and AJ Styles, the thing that they had each other. And Paul Heyman said, talked about the one time that AJ Styles had the match with Roman and he lost. There could be like big box office and whatever like that. And then AJ, after he did, it was like, what, that could be a good thing. He was like I said when I won the Royal Rumble, I can go Raw or I can go to SmackDown. He said if I go to SmackDown and I face Roman Reigns, main event, yeah, I beat Roman Reigns. That means Roman Reigns is no longer the head of the table. He's no longer the head of the table. That means he's no longer the tribal chief. If that means no longer the tribal chief, you know what that means for you, Paul? That means that you're out of the job, and that you could be gone from WWE. And I like that. I like the fact that you would be fired from WWE, making a reference to the claims that Paul Heyman was the one that said for Gallows and Anderson to leave, to let him go because Vince was going to keep him, but Paul was like, nah, let him go, and then Gallows and Anderson was gone. So, man, just after that, like AJ wins the Rumble, and then he goes to SmackDown and challenges Roman Reigns. Like that wasn't even a thought that was even in my mind, and then I planted that in my brain. And now you got AJ Styles, you got Daniel Bryan, you got Shinsuke Nakamura, you got Big E still there. Everybody's still saying Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, Cesaro maybe. This year, it's going to be interesting to see their plans. And yeah, I'm excited, man. And what did you guys think of the show? I'll give the show a B minus. Uh, I think that this could have been like A minus, A tier, with that last like 20 minutes. You know, if they would have just gave that match AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, they would have just given them that match. That this probably could have been A minus A show, but they threw in all those extra curricular activities and just so B minus. Going into Royal Rumble, I'll be reacting to Royal Rumble, and I'll give my actual like the whole review on Royal Rumble, like I do with my normal pay per views. But that was it. What did you guys think? I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.